Happy Monday, everybody.
Woot.
Everybody have a good weekend?
Yes.
Went by too fast.
Always too fast. Always too fast. Well, listen, we're feeling ambitious this morning here on Wake Up Charlotte to Go because we are, in the next 5 minutes, going to solve what is an age-old problem.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to solve it? You're claiming that?
Yeah, we're going to solve it. Can money buy happiness?
No.
Yes. Let us know.
I'd like to try it.
It can help.
Let us know what you think. Comment below. We'll all chime in. And the reason we bring this up is because a new study said there might be some truth to it. Take a look.
A new study shows there's a direct relation between how much you make and how happy you are. Let's connect the dots. A salary in the ballpark of $105,000 a year is enough to make the average person happy. That number is well above the median income for folks here in the U.S., which is about $70,000. It's important to note the number depends on where you live. Here in Charlotte, it's a bit higher at $112,000 a year. But studies show it's not necessarily how much you make that determines how happy you are, but rather how you spend it. Researchers say people are usually a lot happier when they spend money on things like experiences and social connections instead of material goods. Of course, money isn't the only key to happiness. In fact, no matter how much money you make, scientists agree what you use your money on is not as important as who you spend it with. And that is connecting the dots.
Good one.
All right, so let us know what you think. All right, Chris, we'll begin with you.
All right, so it's definitely not the key component. However, money can buy you, like you said, experiences, Super Bowl tickets. That'll make me very happy. So, yeah, no, I think it is definitely a piece of the puzzle because think about it. If you have money, you're not really worried about your financial issues or living paycheck to paycheck. So that can clear your mind for a lot of things. Of course, you have to find the right people in your life to surround it by. Sure. But, yeah, no, I think it definitely helps, but it's not the absolute key.
I think money buys, for the most part, stability. And I don't know about the average person. Exactly. Stability makes me happy. Yep. When I know that there are certain things I don't have to stress about, when I know that I have more opportunities to do things that I'd like because I'm financially stable, I know that I can, I don't know, it makes me happy to spoil my family and friends. Like, I think the happiest thing, one day I'll make enough money to pay off my parents' house. And I think that would make me incredibly happy. So I think it's probably a slight majority, I think, of happiness is how much money you're bringing in and how much stability that those.
I think stability. I think that's a great word because I think that unless you live paycheck to paycheck or you've been poor at some point and you know the stress that comes with those monthly bills and trying to make ends meet and worrying where, you know.
It's the worst feeling.
It is and it's a stressful feeling, and it's bad on your body and bad on your soul. And
been there, I know.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, until you felt that, then you really do realize the stability that money can buy, the access money can buy to things that can help you out in a variety of ways. So, yeah, I think. To the point of the study, beyond $100,000 or something like that, I don't know that there's any real difference. And Lord knows there's lots of miserable millionaires out there.
Oh, absolutely.
There are a lot of people. I've known some people who worked especially in the radio industry, some people who did well, made a lot of money, and it didn't make them happier.
Yeah.
I would say it didn't make them a happier person at all. I mean, you know, but they were, not to say they were unhappy, but, you know, well, hey, I'm making $1 million a year and I'm a lot happier. It's just more bills, more payments. A lifestyle goes up.
That they try to achieve.
I think the reality is when you become a wealthy person, your whole life changes and you're spending a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And that comes from several people that I knew very well that said that to me. Said, you know what? So, Larry, you're just as well off in Charlotte than New York or Los Angeles or Chicago. There's 3 choices right there.
As Puppy said.
I mean, we've seen documentaries on people who win the lottery and their lives just go downhill. It's terrible. They don't know how to manage the money.
Yeah. Melissa chiming in. Money makes life easier. Happiness comes from within and who you share with.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
What I think is cool, too, is the learning curve. Well, the learning curve that happens for some when it comes to acquiring wealth, especially if it's happened faster than usual. I had a good friend that inherited a bunch of money when he was in college and learning just the management of everything, what it means to manage a stock. I think he couldn't have been like 22, 23. It was a very odd situation that I won't get into, but just learning how to manage assets, to manage wealth, and everything that comes with that. Now, I remember watching him go through that process. That in and of itself was really exciting because it was it was a form of education. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, because we don't have certain access, once we get that access, there's so much to learn. And I think we see it the most when it comes to athletes, that income changes drastically. Yeah. And then as soon as you're leaving, the professional sports arena, then you end up broke. Well, it's because you didn't have the proper education, because you haven't had the access.
Yeah, and that's especially true for football players who have like an average of 2 years. Most of them aren't playing forever. Yeah. And so all of a sudden they have all this money, they buy cars, houses, whatever, and instead of having the education to how do I invest this, how do I stretch this out long term so when I get hurt or my professional career is over, that I can still take care of my family or figure out how to
or buy those things in a reasonable way, because there's looking at tax laws and just the way that LLCs work, it is the craziest thing to look at, and what you can consider business expenses and how you can use LLCs to get the things that you want, but in a way that's money-wise.
Yeah. John Kelly chiming in saying, I agree, money provides stability, which can clear the mind for other matters.
Yeah. Debt just hangs over your head. Yeah. It's like I'm still paying off my student loans, things like that. And I'm one of millions of people that are still paying off their student loans. So having that not on your shoulder, I think that's really what it is. And you brought it up. Stability is the biggest thing. Exactly. And especially with inflation, what people are going through. You know how expensive groceries are now compared to.
Good God.
Yeah. So even people that might have thought that they were doing well a few years ago, they're now into a bracket where it's not as stable as they once knew.
The pandemic put a lot of six-figure folks struggling, and I just think that's crazy.
Yeah.
We just have done a story, too, on how money's one of the number one issues that couples, when they're going through struggles, it's money issues.
Absolutely.
It's almost as if, if you can make, say, 6 figures, or 105,000 is what that study said, where you can be wealthy, but not too wealthy, because if you're one of these people who all of a sudden comes, whether you're a professional athlete or your friend who all of a sudden came into a lot of money, then I feel like you almost don't know how to adjust to it, and then I think that leads to just more problems. Where I feel like if you can make a lot of money but still have to work and still have to pay bills and still have to be accountable, that sort of keeps you grounded.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of this comes with maturity, because the younger you get it, a lot of those athletes, 20 years old, 21 years old, they're not handling money, but once you're my age, 50, 55.
27?
45. Come on, Larry.
Well, I thought that the 100,000 number is still really interesting to me. I really want to look into the article, because $100,000 to me, when I think about happiness, that it depends on how you're using it and where you're living. I would say even in Charlotte, $112,000.
Cost of living would be different.
Right. Yeah. It depends on what your debt situation is looking like.
Depends on if you have kids, depends on your debt situation.
Exactly.
It depends on a lot, for sure.
Because I'm 112, I think for a single individual that has no dependents, that number makes the most sense to me. Yep. But if this is a dual income household with kids.
No, that was.
I was about to say, this is not.
Yeah, kids
not adding up.
Kids changes everything.
Yeah, I've learned that recently. So, no.
And then you got to save up for college.
Right.
Yeah, let's not talk about that right now.
So JC is going to be an only child.
Well, that's not the plan. That's why I've got to maybe work on some side hustles. Got to buy that happiness. No.
All right, folks, chime in and let us know. Can money buy happiness? All right, so maybe we didn't resolve the issue, but
now
probably never
will.
We had a good conversation
Depends
about
on
it.
the person.
That's right.
And give us a number. What do you think?
We'll see you back here tomorrow.